Hey guys, well, as the lead-in indicated, I have been in hot pursuit of a 2026 Triumph 900 Scrambler. If you follow these bikes at all, and I know you probably do if you're watching this, you'll know that in 2026 Triumph made some significant changes to the 900 Scrambler, which was probably overdue, but modified swing arms, some frame changes, lean angle sensitive braking, and some new styling and a couple of new colors. And truth be told, I've been watching this bike for a long time, for several months, and I finally got over to Spokane to test ride it. And I knew that I liked the black and green one the best, but as soon as I saw that black, or that gray and kind of a yellow gold with black trim in the sun, whoa, that was absolutely gorgeous. So I got over to Spokane. You probably know where this is going. I test rode the bike. I was out riding it. I absolutely was loving it. It just was wonderful. And then I pulled up to a stop sign, and my old Navy buddy pulled up alongside of me, or a stoplight. My Navy buddy pulled up alongside of me, and he knew I was going to be out test riding this thing. He lives in Spokane. And it was just kind of like it was meant to be. I came back to the dealership. I talked about it a little bit with Mrs. Flying Mule Rider. I went out for another test ride, rode it for a little while longer, came back, looked at it some more. I just absolutely loved it. Now, I've had a Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, which was a wonderful bike. For me, it was just too tall. And I've got a 32-inch inseam, and I put about 3,000 miles on it. And kind of like my BMW that I had for a while, the Triumph was just too tall for me. I never dropped it, but you know, I paid a lot of attention to it, so I wouldn't drop it, but I needed to get rid of it. But I've had 3 Triumphs. I've got the T120, and I've got the older Speed Twin. They are both amazing bikes. Absolutely love them. The idea that I was somehow or another thinking about a 3rd Triumph in the barn seemed unrealistic and ridiculous. I don't know. I just really loved that Scrambler, so I don't know if I was going to sell the Speed Twin or not, but I love the Speed Twin. So, even though I don't ride it that much. Anyway, you probably know where this is going. And if you know my history, I kind of react to things like this. I've been watching it. I didn't need to look at the spec sheet. I already knew what it was. I've been studying it for several months. So anyway, let's get back to the shop. We'll talk about it, and you will see where this goes. All right, we are here in the Flying Mule Rider garage, and as you can see, the Himalayan's getting a little rest and a little R&R and a little maintenance. oil change, you know, chain adjustment, everything like that. But oh, we're talking about the Scrambler, the Triumph. Oh my. Well, the one thing I've learned is kind of like internet dating. Not all love is meant to be pursued. And if you would have followed my idea over the last 100 times, I would have bought that. Scrambler or that Triumph in a heartbeat. But truth be told, there's someone else in my life, and she makes me happy. So let's talk about her. I've only been with her for a couple of days, but she is making me happy. And there you have it. I'm sure you know, if you're watching this channel, you're looking at a Royal Enfield 650 Bear. And it's got a center stand on it, so we'll talk about that. I've only got a couple 100 miles on it, but like I said, she's making me very happy. I've done a couple things to it. I've got the Moscow Moto handlebar bag on it. I don't like tank bags, so that's going to work out pretty good. I got the Voyager, or the Burley Voyager wax canvas bags here on the back. I mounted. It wasn't, I had a few problems mounting them, but I think they fit the Scrambler really well. Thanks, Stuart Fillingham. But yep, like I said, not all love is meant to be pursued, and we're going to talk about this. But right now, let's get her fired up and ride. We'll talk about it on the way. Hey, we're on the Bear. Before I get started on this crazy ass story, let me just first say, Fuzzy, Keith, sorry I missed you on Whitehorse. I was about 12 hours ahead of you. I know we were communicating. I went by your campsite there, and I knew you were behind me. I was in the mode to ride and put miles on before the weather turned even shittier. So we'll get together another time. But the Himalayan did great. Went all the way to the Arctic Circle. Had a great time, and we'll catch up later. So let me talk about this insane little situation here with this Triumph Scrambler. I've been lusting on this bike obviously for a long time, and I don't know what it was. I had fully intended on buying it, but I just hesitated. I had been trying to find a Royal Enfield Bear, a 650, just to compare, even though I was completely committed to the Triumph. I found one in the Tri-Cities in Eastern Washington. They sold it. They didn't have one in Billings. I refused to do business with the dealership in Idaho Falls. I had one arranged on my way to Bellingham to get on the ferry with my Himalayan. They sold it a week before I got there. Whoa, dude. They sold it a week before I got there. That didn't work out. A dealership in Portland had one. That was my fault. My schedule just didn't jive with that program. I tried, but I couldn't do it. So it's not any like a news flash that Royal Enfield has a dealership deficit in the US. I think they're doing the best they can. So here, just before I was getting ready to buy this Triumph, you know, one of the three main Royal Enfield dealers in the country is obviously Baxter Cycle. I'm sure you've heard of them in Marnie, Iowa. So I called Jeremy, I explained my predicament. I said I'd like to try a 650 Bear before I buy the Triumph. Do you know of where there's one anywhere near Interceptor with a modified frame, extended suspension, and different exhaust, and it's basically scrambleized with a few other things. But the Interceptor center stand will fit the Bear 650, except for two things. One, it's got to be decatted, and two, it's too damn short because the suspension's extended on the Bear 650, so that's no good. I mean, doesn't do me any good to have a center stand that's, you know, both wheels are on the ground. So he said, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the way it is. But I got a really great guy in my fab shop, so we just talked about that. So we think we can take the Interceptor center stand, add a little over an inch of length to it, weld it up, polish it up, repaint it. We think it'll look like an OEM center stand built for that. We'll put a straight pipe, decat it, put an AEW performance exhaust system on it, and your problem is solved. I thought, are you on a freaking crack pipe or what? I mean, I've never had any dealer ever work on that kind of a concept and come up with that kind of a solution. And he further said, if you've gone through this much effort with this Bear and this Scrambler, if you really don't like this bike, then we'll work something out. Again, I'm like, what am I even listening to? So obviously you kind of have a feeling of where this is going. I said, if you're that confident, I don't want some jury-rigged POS, okay? If I'm going to pay this kind of money for it. He goes, oh no, it won't be. I don't know him. And I said, I'll take a chance. So before I went to Alaska on the Hemi, I put a down payment on it, and he said, all right, I'm excited to start working on your bike. I said, okay. So this weekend, or this few days ago, they have a pretty close relationship with a company called Hall Bikes. I've never done business with them, but as it turns out, this is pretty much all they do, is haul motorcycles all over the country. And the price I ended up paying to have this thing dropped at my house, basically, was freaking nothing. I mean, it was, I don't know, $600. I mean, I thought it was going to be $2,000 or $3,000. So that was really reasonable. So I picked this bike up a couple of days ago, and they delivered it a couple of days ago, and I've already got a couple hundred miles on it. I've driven it at night. I've driven it on gravel roads, some rough gravel roads. I've driven it. Now it's not like I've driven it thousands of miles, because it's still in a break-in period. But I'm having a blast. I love it. It's exactly as I expected. The center stand and the exhaust modifications look freaking absolutely OEM, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm reluctant to say this because it seems like when I say this, it sounds like a compromise. But fuck, man, it's half the price of the Triumph. and I'm reluctant to say that, but this bike is just amazing. The 6-speed transmission is as smooth and precise as any 6-speed I have ever driven. It's sure a lot more precise than my BMW, and my BMW was a nice bike, don't get me wrong. But it is super butter smooth, absolutely wonderful. This thing rides great. It rides exactly as I expected it to ride. And like I said, I'm really even reluctant to bring up the money aspect, but it just puts it in perspective, kind of where Triumph's at right now. I love my two Triumphs, my T120 and my Speed Twin. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. But for me to be able to have this kind of a bike for this price is just awesome. So I still got another video I need to come out with regarding to some summaries of some shit that went on with Alaska with my Himalayan. It was great, but I got to kind of summarize a few things that went on and how I modified it the last 5 or 6 weeks. I didn't modify it, make a few changes to make things really great. But anyway, that's all I've got for now. I'm in love with this 650 Bear, and for me to say Baxter Cycle treated me well is kind of like saying I went to some restaurant and got a good meal. I mean, I was really excited. They followed me through every step of the way. The workmanship was pristine. They did absolutely everything they said they were going to do. They're following through with me on my bike to make sure I'm happy. So if you're considering a Royal Enfield and you don't have a dealership there, I'd recommend giving them a call. I'm not on their payroll or any of that shit. I don't care about that. But they really treated me well, and got excited about building this bike to where I wanted it. And I wouldn't hesitate to do business with them again or buy another bike from them. So, hey, ride safe, subscribe or like if you haven't already, and get out there, man. Look at this. It's smoky in Montana, but it's great. Get out there and do it. Flying Mule Rider, signing off.